Hello, it's another Choro-Q wheel swap day. Let's take a look first at the Choro-Q. This is one of those gimmick ones, RGQ, real gimmick number 2, Toyota Estima. So I'm not sure how many were in this line of RGQs. I've got like 4 or 5 of them now, but some of the gimmicks were no gimmick at all. They had no moving parts, but looking at this one, it looks like the door opens on the side. On the front of the box, it does say 2001, so that's what I looked up images of, a 2001 Estima. Which also gives me a belief that this might be called a Toyota Previa in certain countries. Alright, let's get this case out of here. Just a cardboard base, which is, I guess, fine. Alright, so looks like a stock type of Previa, or I'm sorry, Estima. So looking at the front vents there, that's pretty good actually. How intricate the intakes and grills and all that stuff are. And then it looks like it has clear headlights. So that's pretty good. Here's the foreshortening view. And here's a rear view. Yeah, obviously the taillights are just red. It'd be great if they had multiple colors, but I can't imagine these things are that expensive when they were new, but I'm not sure how much a Choro-Q cost back then. All I know is today's Choro-Qs are overly expensive. They cost more than really nice die-cast cars. Okay, well, let's take a closer look at this guy here. It's a gold color. Champagne gold, I suppose. Unfortunately, on the roof, there's a sinkhole from where it cooled off of the mold, so that's too bad. And then you'll see here the door mechanism. So this door does slide open. It's just standard 5-spokes, which is why I'm going to swap these out. So the windows are pretty clear. You can actually see kind of half of a front seat, steering wheel, and the dashboard there. It's interesting. They just like twisted up the face of the dashboard so you can see more of it. But yeah, let's try to open this door here. I don't know if there's a special way. Is there a switch? Nope. Is it both sides? Yep. I'm wondering if it's actuated by the motor. So you can see the angle here. So why is there an angle on the bottom? Well, that is weird. It doesn't want to really open. Let's try the other side. I feel like there's got to be some sort of simple trick. Oh, well, no, there we go. It's just too much friction, I guess, going on there. So let me try the other side again. Maybe the paint was stuck or something. Okay, well, looking inside, so yeah, I can see the post there of that roof, and that's why it had a sink mark. All that plastic is cooling at a different rate, and so that mates with the bottom here of this interior piece. And okay, well, it's interesting. It's definitely a gimmick. I do like that both sides open so you can see all the way through the car. And then in this case it makes sense to have pretty clear windows. Usually they're smoked quite a lot to hide the motor, but here it's hidden by the interior piece. So on the front end we do have some printed on wiper blades, and you can see the clearness of this plastic here. Same with the headlights. And then as I mentioned, these are real vents. They're pretty nice. I mean, you can't do that with die cast. You can't really reliably pull such a thin part out of die cast, so this is actually better in many respects. Alright, RGQ Estima. Okay, and it was exhaust tip molded in here. So yeah, 2001, so quite old. A little extra paint though from somewhere in the production process. That is caked on there. Okay, I better close this up because I'm going to swap out the wheels anyways. Now closing it up is a whole different story. Is there a tooth I'm missing here? I'm just trying to take a look here. So you can see the mechanism slide there. No. I don't see any teeth as to why it would get hung up. So slide forward, push in. Okay. I guess it just takes a little bit of effort. Probably because this is a wind-up toy. you know, if this thing hits a wall at high speed, you don't want the doors flying open, maybe? Maybe that's what they're thinking about. But naturally, you can see these really ugly panel gaps. So, I don't know if I'm really sold on this. It also looks like it's not quite aligned properly, that panel with that panel, right? So that's the sacrifice of making opening parts. The overall look doesn't look very nice. Alright, well, let's take a look at the inside here, because I'm going to swap out the wheels anyways. So this little tab here is problematic on a lot of ChoroQs. I think it's because this exhaust tip is not allowing the plastic to flex backwards. So I have to somehow get that exhaust tip up and clear that tab. Oh. Or I'll just use my little phone tool in here and push it. Man, that is tough. So it's a strange design. There we go. Yeah, so that was hanging up and causing it difficulty. Alright, so that's the mechanism there. Front axle can come away. There are the clear headlights. Alright, interesting. Very interesting. I'm going to take this guy out. I'm going to pop in a motor without the axle. Then we can put this back together. Now I gotta make that exhaust clear that tab. There we go. Find that screw. Okay, so let me get a different angle here. Show you these wheels. So I bought these, you know, thinking I would swap out some of my more realistic looking models, but these custom alloy wheels, very often they're just too big. Yeah, they're designed originally, I think, for Hot Wheels, which are oversized in many cases. So for a car model that's true 1/64 scale, unless it's like a truck or something with really giant wheel wells, these things just don't fit. So I have a bunch and I'm willing to put them on here. Unfortunately, that's not good enough right there, so I'm going to take these tires off and swap over the Choro-Q tires. I'll just do one just to show you guys. So first, this tire is quite difficult. It's, I don't know if it's old or what, but it's having a hard time coming off. There we go. It's not as easy as the other ones, but it is nicer than the other ones. I think this is an older type of WORDC tire, or it's a wheel set. I also feel like these this wheel is a little bit too flat looking. It's all photo etched metal, and it's nice, but it's very flat, right? So it's kind of not nice enough for me to put on my 1/64 scale true vehicles, but it's plenty good enough for a Choro-Q. Alright, so I'm going to do this with all four. I'll be back. Alright, here it is mounted, and I have it so it actually has a little bit of suspension ride height, you know, a little bit of an air gap over, and I'm just using a whole bunch of that putty to keep them in place and add a little bit of camber because it is a Japanese van. Gotta have that JDM style. So I don't really have this car in 1/64 scale, but I do have a couple other vans. This is an old Town Ace, a Toyota Town Ace by TLV. And this is a Hobby Japan Toyota Alphard, or Alphardado. I just don't know how to pronounce that thing. So I'm going to guess in real life this Estima here probably falls in between these two vehicles. So the ride height, I mean the actual height of the van is quite similar to the other two. The width isn't too far off. But yeah, the foreshortening is what makes it a Choro-Q. Very comical. Alright, well, let's get these guys out and look at a couple other vans that are super deformed. Let's get this lady up here saying, hey kids, come on into the van or I'm going to shoot you. Let's see, this is an L Grand. It's a Nissan L Grand, and I have some 3D printed wheels on that guy. I have a Toyota Voxy with some Hot Wheels Real Riders on it. Then I have a Tiny Q branded Toyota Hi-Ace Fire. And this is nice because it actually has, you know, reflectors behind the clear headlights. So I like those Tiny Qs. But I still like this van the most out of all. That's a Nissan Caravan, and that's also a Choro-Q 0. It's, I guess, a higher class Choro-Q. It's one of the early ones, the third 0. Okay, let's go to the top view of this guy. Alright, so let's get rid of these things. So I'm actually pretty happy that ChoroQ makes so many vans, because if I collected true 1/64 scale vans of vans I don't really care about, like an Estima, it just takes up too much space. You know, if it's a super cool van, I'll get it in 1/64, but you know, I don't need to have every van that's ever been produced in one true 64 scale, because, well, they're just not all that cool looking, not all of them at least. I don't find this van to be really cool looking in real life, but as a cartoon, it takes up very little room, and I think I actually prefer it in the cartoon form than the photograph you see behind. So then with some WORDC wheels, maybe WORDC wheels that aren't good enough for my true 64 scalers, but they sure make a ChoroQ cartoon look a lot nicer. Alright guys, well, I'll see you the next time I get one of these real gimmick ones. I'm actually kind of happy that this one actually does have a gimmick, whereas my Datsun pickup trucks don't. Alright, but that's a different story. Alright, talk to you guys later. See ya.